It's Mark Husson's Astrology Hour. Time for you to expect something wonderful.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. It's Mark Husson. This is Mark Husson's Astrology Hour. It's Monday, January 29th. It is the last Monday of January. Oh, wow. It is just crazy. I understand we came in late to, do the shows. So we started the 22nd. So it's only our second time on the air. So it is funny that it's the end of January. But still relatively, February starts this week. It's going to be Valentine's Day before you know it. So we're going to have a lot of things to talk about. If you're new to the show, come on over to 12radio.com and click the chat link on the left-hand side. And when you do, you'll be brought over to that beautiful chat room. And you'll see my post at the very top of the page. And I gotta actually work to get there myself. And you'll see the comment section underneath my, the banner, Mark Husson's Astrology Hour. And you'll see the comments under it. And I get to welcome Nadine and Lynn and Maureen. Thank you all for being here. There is I'm going to I'll be sure to pay more attention this week to the chat room because I want to make sure I at least say hi to you guys. Tiffany, welcome. Truly. Good morning, she says, and all the wonderful people at 12 Radio. I'm feeling the Virgo mode too. Got tons of stuff done. It's got tons of stuff to do, and thank God I have a Virgo rising as well. Otherwise, I'd be a big watery Pisces mess. Isn't it fun that astrology gives us such a wonderful language to use to explain ourselves, and that people really understand it? I love that. Tara, welcome, Tara. My husband has a Virgo moon, and he did an overhaul yesterday, a man on a mission. Good morning from the sleepy Capricorn. And she put a cool little thing, when you're so full of enthusiasm, you pulled everything out to declutter it. That is so like what my story was about. And I did do that yesterday. John reminded me it was a Virgo moon. It's not like Virgo necessarily has to do that. But it is kind of funny that we're putting together you wake up and all of a sudden you want to put things together, and it just happens to be this moon of organization. Now, I do have my Jupiter there, and I have this sort of conflict. I have Jupiter and Virgo. So I do Virgo in a big way, right? Because in the microcosm of things, my little Mars and Pisces, I'm a mess. There is clutter everywhere because I know where everything is. And it's funny how my mind quickly acclimates to seeing the clutter. And, I know where that is. It's under that third towel. Or I know where I just found the oven mitt today in the sink. I wanted to get a quick bake-in before I had the show done. So I made some breadless. I'm trying to experiment with the bread a little bit, I figured if I do it every other day, if I just make it and make it and make it after a year, which it has been. Okay. So I'll give myself 2 years. I'll get pretty darn good at this. Now the bread is great. I really enjoy the bread, but for me with that Jupiter and Virgo, it's like, it didn't rise enough, or it didn't, whatever. So I'm okay with that. That works for me. It drives everyone else in my life a little crazy, but whatever. Life is for living. So we're in strange times. Would you agree with that? We're kind of living in strange times. We have said that. We say that every week. Every year, every news cycle. It's a strange time. The world's, but the reason I'm bringing it up is because I think the overview is really important. I think for us to take a breath, to take a real deep breath and step back to see some of these changes. Now, we're at the tip of Pluto dipping its toe into Aquarius. That is so big. It's so big. And I don't want us to miss the movie. I don't want us to miss the beginning of the movie. Remember, I used to walk into a theater and you could stay to see the beginning because you missed it. I remember how none of that used to be a big deal. When I was young, of course, they shuffled us off to the movies. They were praying there'd be a non-R-rated movie they could dump us to, but I loved it. I was praying there'd be the same. And then they took us to Night of the Living Dead. Me and my cousin went by ourselves and didn't know what they were sending us to. Oh my God. And I was young enough to think that they really eat that. And so, but if you missed the beginning and you wanted to watch it again, you stay and just watch all the previews again and, get more popcorn and watch the beginning again. So as Pluto gets into Aquarius, as it just entered, and I know it's not staying forever. It's 9 months. Now, we've already had it last year. Same thing. It dipped its toe in, but very briefly. Now it's going to stay a little longer. And then after the election, around the election time, it goes into Capricorn for a couple months, but then it comes right back for then the 15-year stay. If we can watch it, the thing about astrology that's so amazing is that you can look at a transit that's up and coming. That's what, we do. The transits are the moving planets. You can see that, oh my gosh, Jupiter's in Taurus, and all the Tauruses are like, my life is going to get great. And that's fun. That's anticipation. No problem with that. And if you have a Taurus moon, if you have a Taurus rising, or if you have Jupiter in Taurus, or if you have something significant in Taurus, that's probably true for you. There's probably going to be some openings occurring. That's nice. But when you're not looking at it from the point of view of just your chart, which is always good to do, you're looking at it from the collective mind, like what the world is doing. And these things kind of boil. It's like the frog in the what is that, where you put the frog in cold water and slowly turn up the heat. Over time, the frog doesn't realize that it's boiling. Gross analogy, I apologize. But the idea is, over time, we just get acclimated to the stuff that's going on. We just sort of, we acclimate. That's what we do. The brain sort of learns to adapt and see it. That's what my mess is about. I acclimate to the way my clutter is. I know that that's there, and my brain adapts to it. And so I walk around the mess in the middle of the floor. I don't have that sort of overview, but every once in a while, and it happened under the Virgo moon, a little part of me gets the overview. Oh my God, this place is a dump. Now, my mom did that every day, but Saturdays were the worst. So Saturday morning cartoons were out because the behemoth up there in the bedroom, the Virgo, was going to wake up and it was going to start. And then chores were going to be assigned, and the raging would be assigned. And I don't like to paint her too bad of a monster, but, from a child's perspective, you kind of celebrated when somebody was in a good mood. Which is why I think during these times in my life, I find it so extraordinarily important to have people in your life whose mood doesn't control you. Okay? People who pay attention to the fact that just because I'm in a bad mood doesn't mean I have to crap all over your day. And I'm really sensitive to that these days because I don't want a situation. I have that in my DNA. I have that nervous system thing in my DNA about what mood are they going to be in. And I'm grateful every single day that I live with somebody who cherishes good moods as well. And so, but if you're not in that situation, I want you to pay attention to what you can do to contribute to your own sense of well-being, even if somebody in your life isn't happy. Now, I'm bringing this all back again to this overview, this thing where we're in the pot that's in a slow boil, and we're getting used to things. And it's nice every once in a while to just snap out of it. Take a minute. What is happening? Now, for example, I just read a really wonderful article, and I will promote this guy. He's delightful. Frederick Woodruff. Search for him. I think he's a brilliant astrologer, and he's my kind of astrologer. Because I appreciate the intelligence, number one. Number two, I appreciate the fearlessness because I think he just sort of tells it like it is. And I just discovered him, and I know a couple of people here listening know him and know of him, but I just discovered him. So he's writing about Joni Mitchell and how his mother, the article was the Black Keys, how Joni always would tune with the Black Keys. And I wrote him, I said, oh my God, this is such a great article. And he was like, where have you been? And that's like an old article. So anyway, Frederick Woodruff, Woodruff, a delightful read. And it does bring in, it's safe reading too, because it's intelligent and he's sort of addressing things like that we think about every day. And the only reason I want to promote him, so I that's what the plug was for. I didn't talk to him, didn't tell him. I have no investment if you join or not, but I think it's good that you keep your finger on the pulse of good information and good people, right? So as we're entering this sort of Plutonian cycle, we're going from the Capricorn of government and finances. Oh my gosh. And the Capricorn thing went in in 2007. Hi, Teresa. Thanks for being here. In 2008, I think it was the housing crisis. Pluto just had gone into Capricorn then. And I mean, think about it. Remember the housing crisis? If you were old enough to remember the housing crisis, houses were overinflated. So in other words, you paid $400,000 for your house and probably refied, took the money out, had a good time. And then the house after 2008 got valued at $200,000. So now you're underwater with it. You're paying way more than the thing is worth. There's no equity left. And that's what happened during Pluto's first step into Capricorn. So if we know those things happened and we watch those, then we want to pay attention to what happens when it goes into Aquarius. Now, what do you think it is that's the big talk right now about Aquarius? Now, let's think about what Aquarius is. Genius. Now, if you're an Aquarian, don't pat yourself on the back yet. All the signs are smart, but it's the guy it's the air sign. It's the fixed air sign. So they sit up there in their heads, right? And they figure it out. And we call them the geniuses because that's like the computer that's working up there. So what happened in our culture when Pluto dipped its toe into Aquarius that has to do with intelligence? And that would be, in my personal opinion, artificial intelligence. Look at the AI thing. Do you notice how the conversation, do you get how extraordinary it is that we're having such laser focus on artificial intelligence when Pluto goes into Aquarius? It's like, what? Nobody even thought about it when Pluto was in Capricorn. Very near the end, but not like this. Not like this, where you're seeing the lawsuits starting to come up, where you're seeing the sort of danger signs starting to come up, where you're seeing the hysteria starting to come up, right? But there's a beginning and an end to Pluto when it enters a sign and starts going through it. There always is. It starts out, the one I remember most vividly, I talk about with you guys a lot, was when Pluto was in Scorpio. And it started with the priests, the first inkling that priests were molesting sex in Scorpio, right? Little kids, young boys. It started with the first scandal, maybe the first lawsuit. And where did it end? Pluto in Scorpio ended with the final acceptance that AIDS was a problem. Death by sex, AIDS, sexuality, Pluto, death, transformation. That's a big one. Now, when it went into Sag, then the Catholic Church got really open about what was going on. They started making changes. Catholic Church being Sag, religion. Okay, Pluto being still secrets uncovered, right? Pluto going into Capricorn started with the uncovering of the housing crisis. No question that this was exposing true illegitimate workings of the financial system. And then during that time, we have Obama, Trump, and Biden. Okay. And then I am not going to get political on you, I promise. I've made it a point. I'll be honest as I can. There's certain things you just can't avoid, but I am going to keep political discourse off as much as possible because Pluto and Capricorn taught me a big lesson, taught me an important lesson. That information, the way we get it, is now designed by what keeps us safe, not necessarily what is true. So what was once you being told what's really happening in the world and it's true, now you seek what you already believe to be true to get it reinforced. So you subscribe to news agencies and outlets that reinforce your belief. And I heard it the other day on a TV show. I watched Bill Maher, and he said something really poignant, which was, it used to be that news informed, and now we inform the news. We tell the news. The news media looks for who's listening, and they play it to their audience. And that's whatever it is, right? It's just not being the frog in the water, not being the frog in the pot, or at least bringing awareness. You're being cooked. And so it's really important that we take this minute to sort of lift the lid on our consciousness, lift it open just a little bit, and sort of get the overview as objective as possible. Now, the way I work that, I stay off of TikTok. I do not get my news from TikTok, but I am not dumb enough to believe that people don't get there. Most people do. Okay. But so what I do is, if I hear a story, I have to look at where those truths intersect. Like, I'll get it from the right, from the left, from the middle, and there might be one theme in that story that everybody is saying, so that happens to be the one that I'll align with, or that I'll at least finally prove. So now when I hear something hysterical, like that just seems so ridiculous, I don't just immediately take it on, because I trust the source. And maybe that's a good thing that happened as a result of all this don't trust the media thing. But now it's important that we do use our brain, Pluto in Aquarius, to understand what's happening. And there's going to be times, like when the moon is in Virgo, like right now, there's going to be times when you have the power and the energy and the ability and the mental strength to sift through all that. You're going to want to. And there's going to be times when you don't want to touch it. And I herald you. I support you and praise you for the times where you don't want to touch it. Used to be I kept the news on 24/7. And now I realize I'm not missing anything. I don't need the hype. I don't need the algorithm in my head. That's why I stay off of Twitter and TikTok, by the way, and Twitter, X, whatever. Because I don't want the algorithm to know me. I don't want it to slant me. I want to get referrals to what I love, people that are good, things that I appreciate, and then have my places that I go and check the reality of them, check the importance of them, the legitimacy of them. So during this, so let's remember that. Let's remember that Pluto's dipped its toe into Aquarius. Let's bring consciousness to the frog within all of us, and then pay attention to the winds, how they're flowing, what they're blowing towards you. Look at the overview. This is about, right now, artificial intelligence. And the implications are huge. They are. But you got to also remember the internet changed newspaper, right? So things change. They will fade away. Everything does. And it's replaced by this new thing or this new thing. And sometimes the wave is so big and so large, it's like tidal wave size, that you're not going to be able to run away from it, or you're not going to be able to, you'd be silly to fight it in terms of, don't just turn your back. Pay attention to what everyone's doing and why. That's information. That's Aquarius. That's the Aquarius brilliance to stay awake long enough to see the overview of what's happening. Now, I want to talk to you also about this sort of, there's a lot of earth in the air right now. And by earth, I mean the element of earth. Venus is in Capricorn. Mars is in Capricorn. Mercury is in Capricorn. Jupiter is in Taurus, an earth sign. Those are all earth signs. Jupiter's in Taurus, an earth sign. Uranus is in Taurus, an earth sign. And today the moon is in Virgo, an earth sign. So right now, basically, we have 6 planets in Earth, and they're in touch with each other. They're at the right degree. Mercury is at 20. Uranus is at 19. The moon right now is at 22. So we're seeing this, it's called a grand trine. So when the planets are all in an element, a similar element, when they're all in Earth and they're all in the near same degree, they communicate in a much different way. And the way that the earth signs communicate is in manifestation and in creating. And the reason I'm bringing that up is this today, and today is a particularly good one, but for a lot of this week, you're going to be able to take an idea and bring it into form. You're going to be able to think of something and have it manifest. A lot of times I get silly with you and I go, I have a thought. And if it's a thought I don't like, I drop the cancel sign on it because I don't want it to be a harbinger of what's to come or me manifesting it. This is one of those times where if you have a crazy thought and you don't want that thought in there, drop the cancel sign on it. Because manifestation is pretty effing powerful. It's a morning show. I just don't like cursing in general publicly. Privately, I have the horrible mouth. I do. But publicly, I like to keep you guys a little safe for your morning breakfast. No one spits coffee out or tea while you're listening. I want to run and check on you real quick. I like to know, I love that my Facebook kept it to, it filters all comments. It didn't just say top comments so I can see everybody. Jackie's in the house. Hey, Jackie, my Chinese birthday fortune cookie said, awaken your divine nature within. That's what I'm doing here. Oh, Jackie. My wordsmith, you're so nice. Charlene, a dramatic start to the day. Good morning, everybody. Look at the picture. Charlene posted an incredible sunrise. Laura, good morning, Mark and twins. Karen, friends, Karen. Hi, Karen. We got Virgos in the house today. Y'all know that, right? Quelly, Grand Rising Mark. The 1st of February I'll be 51. Bless you. Happy birthday, Quelly. Oh my gosh. Yes, you are an Aquarian. So you know exactly what we're talking about. And Pluto's sitting on your sun. It'll be there for a while. You are about to explore what true power is within you and transformation. Oh, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Keisha, oh my gosh, from the Caymans. How are you, Keisha? Good to see you. Suzanne, welcome. You're so nice. She says she loves hearing me at the start of the week. Thank you. Pamela, good morning. Ready for the weather report that matters most? She said, I'm jumpy as hell today. I know. It's in the air. It is. But luckily, there's a lot of earth. Jennifer's in the house. Jennifer Duff. Thank you, Jennifer. Advisor at 12Listen. Extraordinary advisor at 12Listen. Maya Constantine, thank you so much for being here. So, you guys, we have this it's interesting that Pamela talks about being jumpy because there is a lot of energy like that. It's a hoppy energy. It's sort of like doing energy. Capricorn doesn't like us to sit around. Capricorn is always, what's my purpose? What am I doing? Did I waste that time? And so we have to watch that. Notice that Virgo then comes along with the mental version of that and goes, got to do this, got to fix that, got to do this. There's a flaw. We got to fix it. And then Taurus is like, my stuff ain't comfortable. Notice that Capricorn and Virgo kind of jumping around the Tauruses are like, my stuff has got to change. I don't like this. It's not comfortable. And so we have that rolling in us right now. And brilliantly, as the universe is, it does come at a time when it's allowing us to remember that we have this ability to manifest. A lot of you are going through serious change. These planets in Capricorn, that's a cardinal sign. They're not lazy. They're not asking you to sit around and think about it. That's up to the Geminis and the Aquarians and Libras. Y'all think about it. The earth in us is saying, we got to do something. And that's that antsiness, I think it is. It's like the doing. Now, here's the thing that gets most supportive. That whenever there's a fear that I got to move, because sometimes that Virgo energy gets into fear. If I don't do it now, it'll never happen. I got to do it now. And I understand that. But if this is such another opportunity, speaking of manifestation, to bring in the the energy of like, how is it affecting me? Because Earth is kind of nurturing. And that's where Taurus sort of reminds us. If this is shaking me up a little bit, I don't want to use fear as my motivation. I don't want to just scare myself into doing something. I want to do it from desire, right? Esther Hicks talks a lot about moving not against what you don't like, but moving to what you like. We've heard that a lot in the metaphysical circles, right? And I don't like to make rules up like that because then we use them against each other, right? We use them. Oh, why did you create that? Thank God I don't live in a world where people ask that. But it is important. I'll ask it to myself why somebody might have created that and come up with a compassionate reason. But I don't like posing it to the person as a reason to make them wrong, because that's what will happen, right? People will feel like, well, I don't know. Maybe it's unconscious and maybe I seriously wanted to sabotage myself. It's a terrible road to go down. So I want to encourage all of you, stop that. Stop being nasty. Stop being nasty to yourself. Stop being nasty to others. Even if you think you are not being nasty, it's like a little smile, a little how are you, a little I know you have to do it your way energy. It goes a long way. Because at some point, you're not living their life. They're not asking you necessarily to save them. So but bring that home to you. If you're asking yourself that question, what kind of abuse are you doing? So you can say, it's okay to say, how does this make me feel? I'm starting to get nervous. I'm starting to feel jumpy. I'm starting to feel like I'm not doing enough. The minute those thoughts occur, that's where you have an option to sort of recognize that's not going to motivate you. I'm not going to be motivated by that. I don't want to be motivated by fear. And so deliberately don't do it. Or I heard Jay and Carolyn today on the show. Jay goes, what is it? 3, 2, 1, stop. And you stop. You count down to stop and you stop. But whatever it is, the technique you use, you have to be vigilant against this addiction to motivate by anxiety and fear. And it is an addiction. It's just your addiction. How much control do you need? How many of you wake up and like everything? I mean, isn't it kind of obvious we're on a fragile little moment here? Always. I mean, the phrase, the rug could be pulled out from you at any moment. In a second, it takes a second for life to change. Wouldn't it be nice to use all the seconds that you have available to you to be loving to yourself? To be a little compassionate. And I harp on this a lot. And I don't have the perfect days every day. I don't wake up with a smile on my face every day. But I don't ever lose touch with the part of me that now recognizes, oh, you're a little grumpy today. Let's take that extra long shower. Do whatever to stop this sort of self-abuse. And I'm telling you, scrambling down rabbit holes in your mind to figure something out is not a solution. It doesn't work. You can ask yourself, your subconscious mind, to bring you the answers very clear and easy. Bring them to me. Let me see it when you're ready. That's what Taurus teaches us. If Taurus will teach us anything, it is truly patience. Not the crazy mental hysteria that Virgo can whip up. Taurus can teach us to feel this in our bodies first. And I'm not attacking Virgos. I love Virgos. But the Virgo energy of the moon is Mercury. And Mercury is in the mutable earth sign, and it can go on and on and on. I mean, imagine that you're tasked with sorting the shapes of a grain of sand, of grains of sand. You get this little pile of sand, and your task is to sort each one based on their shape, because no two are alike. So you have to sort them. That's kind of what the Virgo mind's ready to do. Now imagine having that mind aimed at you as a person, internally or externally. How gross that is. It's just, it's ridiculous that we're trained to look at the flaws, and we all do it. See a picture of yourself. What's the first thing somebody sees? Your smile. What's the first thing you see? Oh, my makeup looks stupid, or my eyes a little bigger on the left. It's just mean, and it serves no purpose. And it's like, to be able to wake up to it. Now listen, everybody does it. Everybody will always do it. What's the opportunity to know that you're doing it? That's it. To know you're a frog in the pot, that you know it, that you recognize it. And the observer will take care of everything. Now, I'm not talking about God. There's a part of us that's an observer that watches and goes, oh, I see that habit. And there's something magical that happens in seeing that. I'm doing that thing again. I'm doing that self-abuse I always do. I'm just nagging myself to death, and I can't stop. I'm addicted to it. Just saying that and keeping going changes everything. It may not stop the abuse in that moment, but it will register as awareness that you over time will naturally cease to do. In that vein, you don't have to worry that you're going to get addicted to something, because your observer keeps it in check. Now, I'm not saying there's no such thing as addiction, and those of you that are addicted and have a problem, get help. But when those of us that worry about being addicted, worry about, oh gosh, have I done this too much? Then you pay attention every time you do it. And eventually it does change. I promise you that's been my experience about everything. And I am a grand trine in water, which means I can get addicted to a lot of things that I'm worried about over and over and over. And yet they fade away as long as I pay attention. Well, check on you again. Make sure y'all are doing well. It sure looks like it. You always do. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. All comments. There we go. It's making me click the view more comment thing, and it's delaying me, but it looks like we're good. Alicia, welcome. You're emotional. Excuse me. It's okay, right? It's good to know that you're in touch with emotion, and it's good to know that they flow through. I was that way yesterday. I think it was yesterday when I was like feeling every commercial. Like, I'm so tired of commercials, and I'm so tired of TV. Honestly, I watch that addiction too. Noise in the background. So it's funny today. I said, I'm not doing it, but yeah, hang in there with the emotion. I mean, I know that it's just something touching in on you. Okay, let me just take a look here. Keisha's coming out of her cave. I'm so glad. Good. Jennifer, always good to shout out to you. Gwen, welcome. Maureen, this Libra with Capricorn moon had a huge manifestation weekend. Ooh, Maureen, validation. Thank you. I love it. Congratulations. A lot of you are going to be talking like that. Alicia says, I have no earth, explains a lot. Yes. So we use the earth that's here, that's around us. That's what the gift of the planets, that metaphor, bring it in. Keisha, Capricorn sun, Scorpio ascendant, Aries moon. Sure is a serious time of change. And if you're a Capricorn, you've already had Pluto on your sun. So you know what change is like. You know what transformation is like. You know what facing your fears is like. And if you're ascendant, Scorpio ascendant, so if you're a Scorpio rising, then we know that probably, where's Aquarius for you? It's Scorpio. I'm looking at this chart that I put up for you guys, and Aquarius is intercepted. So typically that might be, it could be ascendant. It could be like your fourth house. And that's changing the home. Like you're coming out, like you said, maybe this Pluto in Aquarius, not coming out of the closet, but coming out of your cave. Maybe Pluto in Aquarius is sort of helping you see like the connection, the humanity, the going from me, the Aries part, to we. And so I'm sorry, my computer is being so on Facebook, it's being a little glitchy, but I keep losing you guys, so I'm coming back. There it is. Okay. Thank you. Oh, Raven's in the house. Hi, Raven. Welcome. I was just on Jay and Raven's Backstage Pass last Thursday. We had a sweet talk. They do such a great job together. Both of them sort of dominate 1-2 radio airways. I'm so grateful for them. It's so nice. It's always entertaining. Okay, so if you don't have a lot of Earth in your chart, this is a time period where, yes, it can feel a little weird, but, feelings just want you to feel them, okay? Thoughts just want you to think them. And I guess that, and Hobby's a little barky. If that's the truth, if you're coming into an emotion, it's like feeling the emotion vibrates it out, feeling the feeling. Emotion is the verb of feeling. It's like you have a feeling, and then what do you do with that feeling? Well, you emote it. Air signs, what do you do with that feeling? You might analyze it. You might just get up. Fire signs, go shopping. My thing. You all know about that. Earth signs might actually create with them, but you move them. And so you stay with them. Depression isn't bad. Sadness isn't bad. Happiness isn't bad. A lot of people would like to see, if you're happy, that they might say, oh, you're in denial. Every single feeling comes through, and then it gets adjusted or worked in a certain way. Okay? Whatever we're comfortable with. If sadness comes up for some of us, the emotion, the verb part is to cry. For others, it's to clean. You know what I mean? It's like however you're dealing with it. But what's the difference, you guys? This is the most important thing. Awareness changes everything. If something is unconscious, it does no good that you're acting on it. Okay, that's fine. You're acting on it. It doesn't help you. But you're aware that you're acting on it. You're aware that when I'm sad, I tend to do this. That awareness changes everything. I can't emphasize that enough. It's the key. That's why when I'm around people who I think are unconscious, John will say, well, they don't know they're doing that. And I'm like, they're not knowing doesn't make it any less painful for me. So let me educate them. No, I don't worry about that. It's more like, okay, then if they don't know they're doing it, I get to choose whether I want to be around that or not. It's fine. Okay. And that's how we do the hokey pokey as humans. If somebody's natural state feels warm and comfortable and safe for you, you're going to draw to that person. Conversely, if somebody's natural state is feeling a little unconscious and angry and bitter and makes you unsafe, you're not going to draw to that person. It's really easy. I want to take a look, too, at this week coming up, because as we move forward, I want you to notice a couple things. North node, south node in you. Looks like a horseshoe. One looks like an upside down horseshoe. One looks like, well, they both look like horseshoes. One's with the hump on top. One's with the hump at the bottom. So, and the south node is what you're skilled at. It's what you already know you do pretty well. And what you might want to start doing is noticing if you're relying too heavily on your south node. For example, if your south node is in Aries, you're probably used to just taking care of business for yourself. Don't rely on anybody, just do it so you do it. If your north node is in Aries, you probably relied too much on other people's opinions and keeping it nice and keeping it real and don't have any experience with doing those things for yourself. See the difference? If your south node is in Aries, you have to learn to rely on people and let people help. And if you don't, what happens? Well, probably you're not going to grow. And growth means happiness here in this context. There's no reward at the end of your journey for toughing it out. There's no reward for sacrifice in the sense I'm talking about. The reward for astrological awareness is happiness. Just being happy. Literally being at peace. Literally not moving your decision because somebody else is going to create waves for somebody else. It's like you're in a waterbed together. Okay, and codependence is like, well, I can't turn because it'll wake them up if I move. Imagine that as a metaphor for life. If you have people in your life that are preventing you from moving, from just making yourself a little more comfortable because that upsets them when you do that, then bring awareness to it. Like instead of saying, well, get out of that situation, we say, be aware that you're doing that. I'm telling you, if you knew the silver bullet, that awareness, and many of you do, most of you probably listening do, but to the degree that I'm talking about it, awareness, the observer without judgment, is a silver bullet against the bad guys of life. And the beauty of awareness, the beauty of this observer, is you don't have to do anything. You just have to know that it's there. It's crazy. Now, Saturn is in Pisces. We're going to look ahead too at the week. Saturn's in Pisces. So those of you that are Pisces, those of you that are Geminis, those of you that are Virgos, and those of you that are Sagittarius, you're also dealing with this kind of pressure coming at you. And what kind of pressure? Well, Piscean pressure could look like that guilt if you don't do something, the guilt if you do, the guilt of letting somebody down, the emotional tie-in. Pisces is all about emotional tie-in. And Saturn in Pisces is saying you might want to look at that. You want to put some boundaries up around here. And when it squares the Gemini, Sag, Virgo, for you guys as well as Pisces, it's bringing that to consciousness. Like, where are you tied in that you shouldn't be tied in? Or shouldn't be. I'm putting that in quotes, right? That's the beauty of this kind of cycle that we're in. You get to see a little bit. Now, Saturn just went into Pisces, so you guys, the mutables, I think I'm going to see a lot of you guys dealing with guilt, dealing with confusion of what to do, the right move to make, but it's always going to involve this sort of like fighting this elusive thing like guilt or codependence or something like that. I want you to just pay attention to it. That's why the earth signs right now, you guys are getting the advantage, the home court advantage to be able to manifest. Fire signs, you guys are dealing with Chiron in Aries right now. That's about what we have in the North Node in Aries. You're being asked, I think, to take a look at where your deeper wounds are, to take a minute. If you have a moon there, like Keisha, if you're the sun in Aries, if you're an Aries rising, Chiron is basically, we talk about Chiron and wounds, but we're also talking about where your strength is. Like it's been covered up and we're like uncovering it. We're looking to see, where have you been too reliant? And please avoid judgment on these when I say you're doing something too much or too reliant. I'm just talking because doing it alone would be way more fulfilling. And you're not ready to take that step, but you're looking at it. Okay, and then the fixed signs. Look, everybody, there's something for everybody here. The fixed signs have this Aquarius and Taurus energy coming at them. And for all the fixed signs, which is Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and Leo, you guys don't get as much of a choice because it's fixed, but you might want to look at where you're being encouraged to pull forward a little bit, to kind of challenge where you're stuck, what you believe in. This is going to be about beliefs. I'm serious because I think we're fixed because we believe something. Okay, as we look at the week ahead, and don't forget about Mark's Power Peak, which is markhusson.com or Mark's Power Peak with 2 E's, PEEK.com. You can get in. The password this week is Groundhog because that's happening on February 1st. But so get into the Power Peak, and we have to always give a nod to the queen of consistent, powerful writing, which would be C.A. Brooks. I'm amazed. Imagine you have a day where it's a Virgo moon. It happens once a month. There's a Virgo moon. Nothing else is going on. And you can come up with something to talk about that is still 4 or 5 paragraphs long and very important and very relevant. And that's CA. And that's a magazine, our online magazine. You sign up at 12house.com. And I really ask that you sign up because it's a way for us to measure that we're being heard, see, to take a temperature on how you guys are doing when I'm not on the radio. We also have, and I'm going to look at that with you the week ahead. I want to also just say that we have radio changes coming up. Jamie Dawn is back with us. She's going to be here today right after, well, Christina LaFrance after me, Laurie the Love Sherpas after Christina, and then Jamie Dawn. So she's back. Then Denise Cook has moved her show from Thursdays to Tuesday morning, right before Kat. That's going to be 7 a.m. Pacific. Denise Cook. If you don't know who Denise is, tune in. You're going to love her. And then, of course, you know Kat, CA, Kelly, and Katie are like the Tuesday blockbusters. They're the regulars that tear the house down every Tuesday. Wednesday has been some changes, too. Oliver is back on Wednesdays at 6 p.m., right before Raven's show. We're losing Louie. Louie, we'll miss you. I hope you'll come back. I hope you all nag Louie to come back. And Jay's new show, Ethereal Styles and Soulful Smiles with Alan and Jay, or Jay and Alan. That's Jay's partner. They're doing a radio show 8 p.m. Wednesdays. And then, drum roll, on Thursdays, Peggy and Kay are going to go weekly with Strands of Wisdom, starting at 1 p.m. on Thursdays. We still have Erica. We still have Backstage Pass. We still have the Aaron Carrera Show. And Strands of Wisdom will be that day, too. So, happy about all that. I'm sorry about my throat. I am definitely having a tickle that won't go away. So, okay. Oh, geez. Hang on, you guys, 1 second. In full disclosure, my accountant is telling me that I'm signing in on a new device and they need help. So I am letting them in, and I apologize for doing this. Let me see if it's too late to get to her. I told her, I said, text me whenever you're online and I can get you the code. And I apologize for doing this on the air, but she's like, she texted me. She has no idea that I'm doing a radio show. So, sorry about that. Okay, good. All right. Hell, what a terrible thing to do to you guys. I'm sorry, but I've been waiting to get that done. All right. So let's take a really quick look at what's ahead. I want to talk to you about what's up and coming. I do want you to be prepared for a little bit of, as we go from the moon moving into Virgo, going into Libra, right? That starts the change. If you notice that the first 6 signs of the zodiac, they have a simplicity to them. The issues are a little clearer. It's usually, and this is how I look at it. So see what it works for you. When you do Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, all the way to Libra, Libra starts changing it. The signs get a little more complicated. You start seeing Scorpio, for example, like the Pluto ruler. Then you have, after Pluto, you have the Jupiter ruler, then the Saturn ruler of Capricorn, and then we get into Uranus and then Neptune. The outer planets, they get a little more complicated. Well, that's what happens with this moon. The moon is leaving Virgo Wednesday. It'll enter Libra. And then everything shifts to a little more heavier, a little more serious. And just pay attention to that, because I think that's just an important thing to keep, for you to notice. It goes from spring to summer, and now we're going into the fall and winter months energetically. And that's literally how it looks. And now I'm going over to Mark's Power Peak, and I want to just review the moon just this week, a little bit of what to be prepared for. So tomorrow the moon goes into Libra at midnight. So it will be Libra moon all day Wednesday. Thursday, it goes into Scorpio, so it's a short run, just about noon, 12:30 Pacific. It starts moving into Scorpio on Thursday, February 1st. So pay attention to that energy. That, as we go deeper into the Scorpio thing, some of you are going to start feeling a little more, I don't know, you might feel more grounded. You might feel more like the issues are getting more real and easier to contend with. It changes on Saturday where we go into Sag. So it should be a fun weekend because Sag is all about play. But notice the only thing that's happening this week, the only big event other than the moon changes, is Mercury entering Aquarius. So we're going to leave some of this heaviness behind, but you just got to finish it out for the week. I call it Capricorn heavy. I do, because it's sort of if you know somebody with Mercury in Capricorn, it's kind of like the last thing they want to talk about is the weather. And it's hard to be superficial with them. And I'm saying that's a terrible thing. But when it goes into Aquarius, like Sunday, I think that we'll start having this sort of, it hits Pluto. It'll be connected to Pluto. I think we'll be able to be deep. We'll be able to express it. And I also think we'll be able to sort of remove ourselves out of this have to energy that Capricorn so brings us, without unashamedly brings us. Okay. I think I'm going to take one last look, and then we're going to call it a show, you guys. I'm going to take a look and see how y'all are doing in the house. There has been a lot. It feels like I feel lighter personally in my life. I feel things are lighter, but I think I also see more clearly where it could just be things aren't lighter, but I'm having an easier time dealing with them. And that's just me. And I think it has to do with the fact that I resonate pretty well with that Aquarian energy. So I'm going to stay in touch with that and see what you all think. But I want to bring you with me. And then also I want you to know that we're going to have our normal reduction of rates at 12listen.com, you guys, on Wednesdays and Fridays. So please support us, make a call, talk to an advisor, see what you think. And get the support you need. That's really all we can do. Okay, I'm coming over. I'm going to say goodbye. Make sure you guys are okay in case I'm looking to see if there's any possible questions in the house. All right, here we go. Thank you. Okay. My God. Okay, good. Lori's Mercury's in Capricorn. Lori, I thought it would be. And are you somebody, I can't imagine you're somebody that likes chit chat, right? So I'm thinking that's the way that works. Ali Shea goes, I never want to talk about the weather. Ali Shea, I'm glad you're feeling emotional today because it's pouring out in a great way. Jackie says, I have Mercury in Capricorn. I'm working on it. Okay, so you guys have to look for yourselves. I love Mercury in Capricorn, by the way. I have Mercury in Cancer. I might trade that out because it's hard to be direct. I have to always use my moon. Like I have this thing about now over telling the truth so that, like, I remember, I forget what the most recent thing was. And John said it was a website I was on. I was playing a game. I'm playing slot machines on the website. It's fake money, most of it. But when I'm bored, I go hit this little, pull the slots online. Just it's fun. It's where I think. And John will come out, and I'm supposed to be working on my book, and he goes, "Are you playing slot machines?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And in the old days, my Cancer Mercury would be like, well, no. And, what would that be bad if I was? So you learn you overcompensate. If I had Mercury in Capricorn, it would be, yep, that's the way it is. And they have this way of looking at the world in a very honest, and I love the energy. I'm just saying, if you ever met one at a party and you were stuck with the Mercury in Capricorn, which I have been, it's like they aren't working to make you comfortable. Right? Because they wouldn't know why you were uncomfortable. Okay. All right. So you guys, that's the week in a nutshell. It sounds like you're doing great. I had such a good time being connected to you. I do so get grounded when I speak to you, and I love telling you whatever is true for me at the time. We have a new moon coming. Well, that will be the focus of our talk next week. We'll talk a little bit about those energies and what they do. Also, we're keeping an eye on the temperature of the climate of the world. So we're watching these planets move. We should, I'm excited for the changes that are coming, but please be the frog this week. Pay attention to the fact that you are in the pot. The water is getting hot. Bring awareness to everything you do. Let's see how we do next week. Okay, listen, thank you so much. This is Mark Husson. This has been Mark Husson's Astrology Hour.